Well, hi, everybody. Happy Monday and Happy New Year 2026. We are back to reality after the holiday break. And I think me coming back to this colder weather has been screwing up my sinus. I was in Florida. I did unfortunately watch Michigan get killed by Texas.
You were there, right?
I was there.
Oh, man.
And I know it's January, but it was only mid-60s the whole week.
Man, that sounds nice, though.
And we got that same rain. If you watch Carolina-Tampa on Saturday, all the rain, we got the same rain that we were at, too. But back to reality, but also glad to be back here. So Happy New Year. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency, myInsuranceCircle.com. I'm David Rice. That is Adam. Hello.
Hello.
Good Christmas, good New Year?
Yeah. How about yourself other than Michigan losing?
It was good. Other than the fact that the Packers have now lost 4 in a row, and we are limping our way into the playoffs.
You're in.
We're in.
That tie did matter.
True. I think if we would have lost against the Cowboys looking back, I think Tampa would have been in.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe we were 2 games ahead. Whatever. Still,
Yeah.
the tie ended up mattering.
Yeah,
So.
right. Oh, and obviously we've been gone for a while, so do you want to talk about the Madden game at all?
Yes, yeah. The last show that we had was our Madden special. I actually forgot about that.
Yeah.
I took home the victory.
You did.
Although
second year in a row, right?
Yeah. Although none of us could see.
Dude, okay. So when I play online, I always do random weather. And
Yeah,
people
I do too.
Yeah, people always bitch at me because I do that. And then this
Yeah,
game,
but you don't know what it's going to be, so it doesn't.
I never would have thought it was going to be heavy snow. And we did when we were testing the equipment to make sure the record was going to work and everything. I just played a random game and I did heavy snow just to see what it looked like. And we were commenting about how impossible it was to see. But
And
you
have
saw
it happen again. Because I remember me saying, man, wouldn't it be funny if it was snow again?
Yeah.
And what do you know?
And it was heavy snow on top of that, so it was like impossible to see. It was crazy, but our reaction was pretty funny when the snow came up. When we saw the snow the first time, it was pretty funny. But
Random weather.
Yep. Oh,
Are
no!
you kidding me?
Oh, no! We got heavy snow, dude. This is going to be impossible.
yeah, watch if anybody didn't see it, watch the whole thing on YouTube, watch it on our site because it's up there. So,
And also shout out to Max for being there with us.
that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. I almost put in the thumbnail. I almost put the shot of him downing the can of liquid death. I almost added that to the thumbnail. I was so close.
We had a lot of basketball games, high school games in our area over the holiday break. So that's where we start with today's show. High school boys basketball, Concord is on a roll to start the year. They are 8-1 overall. They started 8-0. Their only loss was to Brother Rice, which is Division I. So they are tied for first in the Big A with Stockbridge. Stockbridge also 8-1, and those two will play each other later this week on Thursday at Stockbridge. And the Yellow Jackets picked up an impressive 53-44 win at the Spring Arbor University Holiday Classic over Northwest. So not only Concord playing really well, they are playing some high competition too. Of course, Northwest, also Division I this year. So they're normally 1 or 2. This year with their enrollment, they're in Division I. So for Concord D4 to beat another local school that's also Division I, Concord playing really well. And remember, Concord girls, I know we're talking about the boys, but the girls made the state semifinal last year, and the boys made the regional final with that team. And they're, I think, an even better team than they were last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if both the boys and the girls could be back at Michigan State at the end of March. So shout out to Coach Gill and the Yellow Jackets, 8-1 so far this year. In the Cascades, Columbia Central is 6-3, but all 3 of their losses have been by 5 points or less, and they won at Tecumseh last week by 6. Columbia is tied with Jonesville atop the Cascades West. Jonesville also 6-3. Boys and girls have a doubleheader. Columbia at Jonesville on Friday. I will be going to Jonesville Friday to watch the girls and the boys. The girls with Jonesville are also neck and neck atop the West as well. So in the Cascades East, Michigan Center leads at 6-1 overall. Leslie right behind them at 5-1. Leslie plays at Michigan Center this week on Friday. Lumen Christi is 7-2. They're currently on a 4-game winning streak after losing back-to-back games, and their 4-game winning streak includes a buzzer beater to beat Jackson High at the Spring Arbor Holiday Classic. I was at that game. I will admit, I was not able to stay the whole game. If you saw the highlights from that game on our Facebook, I was the one shooting those. I was there. Because I was leaving for Florida early Sunday morning, I was not able to stay the whole game. But now I'm very pissed that I was not there the whole game because I missed a buzzer beater. And all the other videos I've watched of people posting it was not very good. So made me feel even worse.
Sometimes that stuff happens, man.
True. So shout out to Lumen Christi, 4-game winning streak for them. And in high school girls basketball, Concord is 1 game behind first place in the Big 8 Conference at 5-1 overall. And last week in a home win over Lenawee Christian, Sierra Barrett, the senior, surpassed 1,000 career points mark. In the Cascades West, Hanover currently leads their 5-0 overall, and they host Grass Lake tomorrow night, Tuesday. Speaking of Grass Lake, they are currently leading the Cascades East. They're actually tied with Michigan Center. Grass Lake 5-1 overall, including 2 wins so far this year by 62 points and 69 points, and their latest win by 2 over a Division I school, East Kentwood, 59-57. Lumen Christi is 5-1. Their latest win came last weekend on Saturday, a buzzer beater at Cass Tech to beat Division I Detroit Edison 50-49. So Lumen Christi looking like another year of state contention, them and Grass Lake. And Western 5-2 overall, and they lead the I-8 conference. So, as I've been mentioning, a lot of good boys games this week, a lot of good girls games. It's hard for me to pick my schedule during the week, especially this week, because I want to go watch Leslie Michigan Center on Friday for the boys, but we also have Columbia Jonesville. So it's just too many good games at one time. So
It's a good problem to have.
True. Although, even if I'm not there, JTV will still be covering it. So, and in high school hockey, after losing 3 of their last 4 games, on Saturday, Lumen Christi brought home a 3-1 win at home at Optimist Ice Arena over Gibraltar Carlson. We had that game live on JTV. Shout out to Matt Kibbe and Max Fritz and our entire crew. 3-1 win. Lumen is now 3-7-1 on the year so far. The record, it is what it is, but they've played some really good competition, and this year, with them being now in the Metro East, a little bit of a tougher schedule. I know you and the rest of the guys were at the game doing that live on Saturday. Any other thoughts to add on to this? I know it got a lot more scrappy at the end of the game. I did not watch the whole game. I watched most of the last period. Pretty chippy, but still a great win for the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, it was chippy, but I guess a controlled chippiness. Like, nothing too crazy happened. One Lumen player got taken down after the whistle, but other than that, it was pretty okay, at least for hockey. Yeah, it was weird. 3 goals total scored in the first period. Gibraltar Carlson scored less than a minute into the game.
Yeah, it was 2-1 after the first, and then nothing until the third goal.
Yeah, and then the third goal was just loose puck in front. Off a rebound, took advantage and scored for Lumen. But, so slow after that, but still good game. One thing that I don't know if you saw this, if you were just kind of looking at some of the highlights and stuff, but in the third period towards the end, a little bit of frustration from Gibraltar Carlson, and at one point they had 5 guys in the penalty box.
Yeah, that's when I watched and I mentioned it got chippy. Quite a few players in the penalty box, and a couple for Lumen too, I think.
Well, yeah, so what happened at the very end is they had 4...
Because I was confused. I think we were all confused for a second on what happened or what they were ruling on.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty certain they had 3 guys in the penalty box, and if the penalty expires and there's 3 guys in the penalty box, you can't go out onto the ice. As much as I remember from hockey, you can't go out on the ice. You have to wait till the stoppage, and then you're able to get off and go to the bench because it's still 2 guys down.
It's not just like a shift where you can just
right, because then it's 5-on-4. Well, something happened, and the player from Gibraltar Carlson got onto the ice and started skating, so then it was 5-on-4, but they still had 2 guys in the penalty box. They can't do that. Stoppage, delay a game on him, so then he had to go back to the penalty box, and then right after chippiness, I think it was roughing on both sides, so that put another guy in the penalty box for them, 1 for Lumen. So at that point, 5 guys in the penalty box at the end of the game. It was I've never seen that at the high school level, so it was interesting to see. Everybody kind of had a good chuckle when that happened.
And then Jackson United currently 7-6, and they only have 1 meeting this year between Lumen and United. Yep. Normally 2, but the 1 meeting this Friday, we'll have it live on JTV. Excited to have hockey again this week, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, and from at least from talking with people around the office, it seems like in the football season when we talked about the rivalry between Northwest and Western, about how this was the year that Northwest could win. Western had a down year. Northwest had a better year than expected, so we thought that could have been, and it was close. Western got the win. I feel like this is the same thing for United this year. If there's
new
a year
coach
for them
and
to do
different
it,
things. Yeah, this is the year they got to do it.
Yeah. I think they have a pretty decent program right now, so it's like they have a chance to do it. This would be the time for them to do it, especially with Lumen not playing as well. They looked pretty decent. I will say this: the second period could have gone way different if they had a different goaltender in net, I believe, because that puck stayed down on that side for most of the second period, and they were just playing good defense, able to stop everything. So if that happens and Jackson United can take advantage and keep that pressure down there, they can win that game. So I think it's a more intriguing matchup maybe than we've had years past. So I'm excited to watch.
And I think Lumen may or may not have taken a little jab at United in the coach interview.
Oh, I didn't hear
during our broadcast. Max told me they had mentioned, United's better this year. They've got a new coach, better players than what they had before.
I did hear that part. Okay, I did hear
that.
Yep.
So I guess if anybody from United was watching the broadcast,
especially if they are a sophomore or older, they're gonna feel that. Well, I'm excited for the rivalry.
I think it'll be a much better game this year. So excited to have that live this Friday on JTV beginning at 5:45 with Matt Kibbe and Max Fritz. We still have a lot of catching up to do since we've been gone. So coming up on the show today, Michigan bowl game, Michigan new football coach Kyle Whittingham, since we haven't been with you since they made that hire, and then the college football playoff. We knew Indiana was good. Obviously, they were number 1. And if this was any more, more of a valid point that Alabama shouldn't have been in when they had 3 losses, they're not at the top of the tier of college football. Getting embarrassed by Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, that was bad. And I know they just wanted to get on the board so they wouldn't get shut out. But if you're Alabama on that 4th down, why do you not go for it? Instead they just took the 3 points.
Yeah.
So
what you said is exactly true. It's just that at that point, moral victory, you didn't get shut out. That's pretty much what that was. I think the way they looked at it too, it's like not like a touchdown was going to change anything. At least the score looks a little bit better with points on the board in case you didn't get the touchdown. So I totally agree.
And I know Texas still shouldn't have been in, but I would have much rather had Texas in the playoff than Alabama or Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So,
take right now, Alabama does not add it to the board. Alabama does not make the playoff next year.
That's valid. And then NFL Week 18, Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers doing it on the last minute of the game.
Doing it at the last minute of the game, and we'll talk about this more later, but it was all, I think his name's Tyler Loop. It was all him.
Yep.
It was all the Ravens kicker not making it.
Lions ended their season with a win. Green Bay, I don't want to talk about them.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I'll tell you
It didn't
this.
mean anything. They rested.
Well,
their
I was going to say, I'll tell you
starters,
this. If trust me, I can easily make fun of the Packers. That's not a problem with me. But if the Lions were in that situation, we would have rested all of our guys and we would have lost, and you would have gotten on the Lions for losing that game. I would have been like, dude, none of the starters are in. So that's why it's not even worth to talk about just because.
Well, there's too many other games that had more meaning that I wanted to.
Right.
mention.
And I mean, we'll get into this. I'll bring this up later, but I have something about this week of football that we'll talk about. But
Okay. Were you also going to bring up the fact that your fantasy league was in week 18?
That was a whole nother thing. That's why I don't understand. We talked about this before the show started, but I don't know why some fantasy football leagues go to the last week. I think that's standard, and I think that's ridiculous because you have these guys, as an example, like I don't know if he played, but like Christian McCaffrey. You have a guy like Christian McCaffrey or Josh Jacobs. I know Jacobs didn't play. You have guys that potentially
McCaffrey
couldn't
did
play. He did.
Because they were fighting for the number one.
That's true.
seed.
So, but when you think about putting in the spots where it's like, all right, they're not fighting for anything, the team's just that good. Like if a team was 16-0 or something like that, or whatever the record would be, 16-0 going into the week, they're probably not going to start their guys, or 15-1. They're probably not going to start their guys. So I shouldn't be punished for having good players on my team. You know what I mean? With a good team,
Right?
It's weird, but no. The thing I want to talk about is something different, but we'll discuss it.
And then we'll also take a look at the wild card schedule. Packers, Bears, number 3. First time in 15 years these two rivals have played in the postseason.
I like that. We'll get into the schedule, but I like that. And I like San Fran versus Philly. I think that's an intriguing
That's an
game.
interesting game.
Yeah.
And then we've had 4 head coaches fired as of Monday. So
Always happens. The firestorm.
Yep. And then Pistons are still on a roll.
Yep.
They're averaging 119 points a game.
Crazy. With how good their defense is, too. It's filthy.
2 top teams in the East tonight.
Yep.
I think just about to start as we're coming on here. So Knicks and Pistons. So
Rematch.
Yep.
Playoff rematch.
And then Red Wings are still doing well, and the Wolverines basketball on a tear.
I will say this, not to downplay because we'll talk about it. The Red Wings are doing more than well. When you look at the team that we've had in the past and how dominant they've been so far, and even going like what they did against Pittsburgh, still getting to overtime to get that point. That's the key that at the end of the year that you look at how many times we're able to at least get to overtime, to at least get that extra point. It's huge, and they've been doing it. And 24-15-4, that's a decent record right now, especially for them.
So, when we come back, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, Michigan and Texas. I'll also tell you some interesting concessions they had for the Cheez-It Bowl. So
I like that.
We'll talk about that when we come back. Welcome back here on JTV. So, Michigan Bowl game, Texas beating Michigan 41-27 in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl in Orlando. I will get to the concessions thing in a minute, but it was the same stadium that they just had the Pop-Tarts Bowl in before. So, part of the stadium was still decked out in like Pop-Tart stuff. It was half Cheez-It. It was weird. And even the green shirts that go up and down the aisles, the containers they had were Pop-Tart Cheez-It. It was weird.
I will say that I talked with Noah about this at the hockey game, that the Pop-Tarts Bowl is the best bowl outside of the New Year's bowls.
Yes, and I just saw the other day that this year's Pop-Tarts Bowl was the most watched non-playoff bowl game ever.
And this is what I'm talking about. Like these brands and stuff need to take advantage of these smaller bowls, and it's way more interesting having a sponsor that puts effort into it, I would say, than somebody that's just like, I'm just gonna put my name on
like the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. Like
even it's funny, like even that one I like, and I like because
no, I do too.
Did you see the play that Snoop Dogg made in that game?
I did not.
There was a kickoff that was going out of bounds in the back of the end zone, and he was getting interviewed while it happened. and he dove and caught the ball. I'll play a clip of it right now.
To me, get back. Oh, this is me. Watch out. This is me. This is me.
No! And it came out of his shoe. It's going down here in the doghouse. West Rider Snoop Dogg.
My bad. My bad.
You came out of your shoe right there.
Come on, man. I'm just doing it all today, baby.
All right,
I was in the middle of an interview, but the ball, it had to get caught.
All right, so every dollar from this game going to charity.
Yeah, man. Everything is going to charity, man. We about giving it away. We don't want to hold on to it. We want to give it away to the people.
So yeah, so there you go. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. But so more things like that and what they do with the Pop-Tarts Bowl, I think that's what we need to go to for people to care about some of these lesser bowl games.
You know, it's just like the 66 Venture whatever bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, make it interesting. I know they want
the Hawaii
sponsorship
Bowl.
dollars. Yeah, but that's going to add viewership. And Pop-Tarts Bowl, normally nobody's going to care about that bowl or what the sponsor was previously for that same bowl game. Nobody cared, but now it's the talk of the town.
But I like that you brought up the point, though, of some bowl games are putting in more effort as far as the sponsors, because you see all the stupid antics, and more funny, like the Pop-Tart toaster thing. Cheez-It did the same thing. You might not have seen it on TV because it was during commercial breaks, but with me being there, they did the same kind of, funny stuff as the Pop-Tarts Bowl. So I like that they're putting in more effort like that and not just making it just a regular football game just with their logo everywhere. You know what I mean? I feel like it's different when it's just that. So
yeah.
So Texas 41-27. Now the concession thing I was going to bring up. So they still had, number one, they still had some leftover Pop-Tarts that they actually sold Pop-Tarts at the concession.
Did you catch how much money? I was curious how much money the Pop-Tarts were.
No,
Okay.
no, I didn't.
Because
they didn't have any prices for it anywhere, but they still had them on the shelf.
Because hopefully it's like it was part of like you get a meal or something. They throw it in there because
hopefully it's not like itself like $13.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because you can
Pop-Tarts.
buy a box for like $3, $4, something like that. Like I can't imagine how much they sold those individually. Favorite Pop-Tart flavor?
Oh man. See, I knew you were going to ask that too.
Mine's simple. Mine's just the brown sugar cinnamon or whatever it's called.
I like that.
That one is just solid.
Pop-Tarts have to be warm though. They have to be toasted.
See, I'm okay with eating just the Pop-Tarts raw, how they are. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it if I'm not able to toast them.
Yeah. But if you're like sitting down for breakfast, you gotta toast that
Right.
sucker.
Yeah,
I get you.
exactly.
I get you.
I would say I'm just throwing a couple out here that are at the top for me. Cookies and cream.
I was about to say cookies and cream is my number 2. Sometimes the chocolate's a little
S'mores.
too much. S'mores, okay.
And then brown sugar cinnamon.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and then with the Cheez-It, the concession thing, I don't know what kind of special food they had for Pop-Tart. You can only incorporate so much with Pop-Tart just because of what it is. But with Cheez-It, because it's just a cracker, you can really mix it in with anything.
You can do like nachos with those.
And that's what they did.
Oh, really?
They did. They had Cheez-It had their own concession stand too. They had Cheez-It mac and cheese nachos.
Good gracious! So they top mac and cheese on top of there.
Yep, and then
Yo.
crumbled up Cheez-Its.
Yo,
So
that sounds pretty good. Do you
And
know that
then,
they have a Cheez-It pizza out there, like a
that
frozen
sounds
pizza?
horrible.
I'm not a big I can eat some Cheez-Its. We talked about this before about our.
Oh,
favorite
that's my
Cheez-Its.
favorite
Like,
snack in
really?
the world.
Cheez-Its?
Oh,
Really?
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, it is. I could eat a whole box of them if I felt like it.
This
I
might
would
be-
feel like a terrible person if I did that.
This might be
but-
before your time, which is a weird thing to say. But do you remember cheese nips?
I do, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember eating them.
I don't
when
think they
was
have those
younger.
anymore.
No,
they
I
have
don't
those.
think
but
so.
I liked cheese nips more than Cheez-Its.
Okay.
I won't go with either of them now, but just because I don't know, I'm just.
Extra toasty Cheez-Its too.
If I get them at all, or if I'm somewhere at a party and they have them, it has to be the extra toasted ones, or we talked about the white cheddar. Those
White
are also
cheddar.
good ones. Yeah.
And then I forget what kind of food it was, but it was one of those foods where it was fried and it had breading on it, and they used Cheez-Its as the breading, fried.
That's good. Anytime they can do that. I love when people do that with like nacho cheese Doritos or something like that, like
Yeah.
or Cool Ranch.
So
there you go. There's our food discussion.
Yep. We had to come back in the new year.
Yeah,
with
had
it,
to talk about food.
But no, I know Michigan lost, but it was still the drive itself. I mean, we were.
Oh, so you drove?
Yeah, because we were near Tampa. We were in Sarasota.
But you didn't drive from here. You didn't drive from
No,
Jackson.
no.
You flew. Okay, yeah.
But from where we were at in Sarasota, it's like 2.5 hours to Orlando.
Oh, wow.
And the way you take, it's I-75 up to Tampa. Tampa's already a mess with traffic, and then I-4, which is historically a nightmare. And we go right through Orlando, through Disney, and it's it's horrible. Yeah. At night, too, coming back.
Have you been to Disney in Orlando before?
I have.
Nice.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
How
about Universal?
I have been there.
I've never been to Disney, but I've been to Universal when I was younger.
Okay.
Universal was sick.
Yeah.
Just the whole movie tie-in with everything is really cool. They've kind of bastardized it now with Simpsons Land and Harry Potter World and all that crap. But like I remember the days of like the Jaws ride and Men in Black, E.T., all that stuff. It was cool.
I don't know if I want to show the picture, but I do have a picture of all of like me and my brother and sisters and all of us at Universal in like 2017.
Oh, sick.
And we got a picture with the Homer Simpson walking around in Marge.
Oh man, if I go back to Universal, I gotta get, you know how they sell that huge donut, that huge pink donut. I gotta go back and get that sometime. That looks so good.
But no, Michigan lost, but it was good. The drive up there obviously sucks because you're just sitting in the car for that long.
Yeah.
But atmosphere was good.
What about my boy? What about my boy Manning?
Okay, if you're the Michigan defense, if you're Wink Martindale, how do you not know Arch Manning is going to be a threat as a runner? Both of his rushing touchdowns he had in the second half, wide open in the middle right in front of him, and the way the line blocked on both of those plays, the gap is wide open right in the middle for him to take off, and there's no linebackers there. So he just ran right through.
Did you see what he said on the sidelines after that?
I did not.
After that run, he was sitting on the sidelines. The camera zoomed in on him because they were talking about him, and he just said, "I'm just going to start not giving a," and then insert your favorite word after that. And it was just kind of like, yeah, that's probably a good mindset to have because he's just like, if I can just take off every time, I'll just take off.
Yeah.
So
who's going to tell him no?
I thought that was funny. It's not. You're not seeing Peyton or Eli moving out there. It's a little bit of a different athlete, I would say.
And it was funny. There were 2 Buckeye fans sitting first row.
What were they doing there?
I don't know. It ended up being better than their game.
Yeah.
Kyle Whittingham hired as the new Michigan football coach. Great hire, by the way. Whittingham was at Utah since 1994 and was the head coach since 2005. As the head coach, 177 and 88 record and 11 bowl wins in 19 years. 10-2 this year with Utah.
Not bad. Not bad.
With the timing and the Sharon Moore incident, because this was bad timing to find a really quality, good head coach. Whittingham just at the right time, was outed, mutual agreement / fired, whatever you want to call it. He was let go from Utah. He was going to retire. Michigan came up. That was the best guy we could have gotten. He's a great coach too. So I thought this was going to be a lot worse when we made the hire. So
yeah, I mean, at least
I don't want to just say we'll take it because he's a great coach, but with the timing that it happened, we'll take it if you're Michigan.
Best case scenario, yeah. I mean, at least you got a guy. My big thing was can't take a risk, which, obviously everything that happened with Sharon Moore wasn't great. But, I mean, we were talking about him potentially getting fired earlier in the year just from poor performance. Obviously not what actually ended up happening. And we talked about giving him a year to, you can't just get rid of him after a year. But obviously with what happened, you're going to. But if that would have happened and he would have had a second year, I still feel like we would have had the same or maybe even a worse result, and he would have got fired next year. So I'm happy getting an established coach. I have a little bit more faith in somebody coming from a different program to kind of come in here and unfortunately change the culture because this was not a good spot. And the assistants
that he's bringing with him too are good as well.
Yes. So I'm satisfied.
And then the college football playoff. Indiana versus Oregon and Miami, Ole Miss in the semis this week. I saw a post on Facebook. All the athletes that only want to go, highly recruited, they only want to play Division One. Otherwise, they're not going to play college ball. Prime example of why that's stupid: Trinidad Chambliss, Ferris State quarterback, 3 national titles as the QB there, great coaching staff, and then went to Ole Miss. Was the third string at one point, but because of injuries, he was thrown in there week 1 or 2, whatever. And look at where he's taken Ole Miss now, without Lane Kiffin, by the way.
Indiana's obviously the best story of the season, but to me, what has happened at Ole Miss is the easy number 2. I just think that them, because I didn't have faith. Because look at what typically happens. Look at the Michigan situation, a little bit different of a situation, but look at. I feel like how that season ended. They could have had a shot in that game if all that crap didn't happen. But, you deal with that. You're not going to play well. I felt the same way with Ole Miss. And then look at how Ole Miss has come out and play. Obviously, quarterback is just sick. He's just awesome. Played a great game. But, yeah, Ole Miss versus Indiana is my dream national championship. And I never would have thought that I would have said that. But there you go.
Other than Miami, which they won it in 2001.
I do like Miami.
The other 3 have not won a national championship.
And it's cool to see. As much as I was hoping Georgia was going to win, it was really cool seeing in Miami, like you said, Miami hasn't been good since those teams, and those teams are some of the greatest college football teams ever. You could argue the greatest team ever. So it was really cool even seeing Miami get back to this spot. So. And exciting, we were going to have a new national champion at least for a And
what's funny is like Texas, Alabama shouldn't have been in. They got embarrassed. And then people said the same thing about Miami or Notre Dame, who was going to get in. That was the whole discussion, right? But Miami was still in, even though they were 5th in the ACC. But they've made the semis. And really thanks to their defense, not that their offense hasn't stepped up when they needed to, because they did the last drive where they beat A&M. But it's because of their defense. They still won 10-3 against A&M, and then only, I think, 20-10 against Ohio State. So, Alabama shouldn't have been in. People talking about Miami shouldn't have been in, but now they're in the semis. So
you were one that was talking about Miami.
I know.
Not looking good.
I know, and I'm shocked.
And I said I trusted my boy.
So, also, can we finally say that the SEC is not by far like the number 1 conference and everybody else is so far down? That's not fair. I
think the SEC is very, very good though.
Right, but Indiana's been by far the best team in college football. Mm-hmm. Big Ten. Oregon was very good last year. Oregon's also very good again this year. It's either going to be Mendoza or their quarterback, Dante Moore, number 1 pick. I think that's fair to say.
Mendoza.
So, 2 Big Ten teams in the Final Four playing against each other. Miami, obviously we just talked about them. And then Ole Miss, if you would have picked an SEC team to be in the Final Four national championship, Ole Miss was not one of those teams you would have considered, especially after Lane Kiffin leaving.
That's what I was going to say.
So, and also if you look at the regular bowl games, the SEC has not done well. Texas beat Michigan, but Vanderbilt got embarrassed by Iowa. Mm-hmm. Not that Iowa's bad, but Iowa's not a team that looks spectacular by the eye test. So,
if in my eyes, I'm not going to put one over the other, but if we were to rank in a tier list all the conferences, it would be Big Ten and SEC in the S, and then everybody else underneath wherever they're going to fall. But it's really those 2 teams, and I don't really, and I'm not going to put one over the other in terms of conference. But I still think that SEC is still a top tier conference. It's just how everything shook out the way it is.
And I think the second to last of the final playoff rankings, the week before the final one came out, the Big Ten had 3 of the top 4 teams: Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. So, it just is the SEC the best conference by far? No, they are not.
Not this year.
Not this year. And then Ohio State losing made our day a little bit better,
That was
even though
very
Michigan
nice.
lost.
Yep, that was very
So,
nice.
when we come back, NFL Week 18, we'll have the wild card schedule, 4 NFL head coaches fired today, and Detroit basketball on a tear. So, we'll be right back with that on JTV. Welcome back here on JTV. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. So the NFL Week 18, the regular season wrapped up yesterday. Game 272 came down to the last play. Aaron Rodgers doing it again.
Like you said earlier, I don't know if we can say it was Aaron Rodgers because
I know the kicker missed, but
Yeah,
the Steelers, the first half, were awful.
yeah,
They were bad.
the catch at the end of the game by Isaiah Likely is situational based. That's one of the best catches I've seen this year, just based on the situation that he was in, and it just ended up meaning absolutely nothing. Did you hear what Mike Tomlin said in the press conference when they asked about like his feelings at the end of the game?
He said, was it something about his aunt and his uncle?
I'm not gonna say it, but yeah,
He
it
did
was
say
pretty
that.
funny.
Yeah. And then, so Rodgers had the touchdown pass to Calvin Austin, and then Ravens kicker Tyler Loop missed the field goal, and the Steelers take the AFC North 26-24. Lions end their season with a 19-16 win at the Bears. Jake Bates with a game-winning field goal. Carolina wins the absolutely terrible NFC South thanks to the Falcons winning.
They got a tough first game in the playoffs.
That was such a weird thing. Like Falcons, Saints, two teams who had nothing to do with the playoffs, determined who got in the playoffs.
Yep, that's kind of stuff happens.
That's the NFC South in a
yeah.
nutshell right there. So Carolina beat Tampa 19-16, and in the second game on Saturday, Seattle beating the Niners 13-3 to win the number 1 seed in the NFC West division. The Browns end their season with back-to-back wins. They beat the Bengals 20-18 after beating the Steelers the week before. Myles Garrett finally,
Good for him.
they've been talking about it for weeks now, finally got the single-season sack record at 23, surpassing TJ Watt and Michael Strahan. So, is it safe to say by far he's the best defensive player in the NFL, Myles Garrett?
Right now?
Right now?
Yeah, I would say so.
And then Micah Parsons, I think, still number 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
By the way, real quick, I didn't have this written down, but Micah Parsons' former Cowboys teammate Trayvon Diggs got signed by the Packers this week, and he played against Minnesota.
Gosh, they're signing
I know he
that
did.
late.
I know he didn't have the same year as he did last year, but at his best, he's still a really good corner.
He get cut?
I don't know. He must have.
He must have gotten cut. I don't know. Crazy. I mean, I'll tell you this. No offense to Trayvon Diggs or anything, because that one season he had with all those picks was crazy. But like, in terms of like everybody was talking about how good of a player he was, and he just got beat all the time. I feel like sure he had those picks, so stat sheet looked good, but I felt like every time you'd see a receiver beating the Cowboys, it'd be on Diggs.
Well, and I think compared to the other corners that Green Bay has, this is still a big upgrade.
Right, and I'm not saying anything, I'm not saying this just because it's the Packers.
Right.
It's more just like I remember looking at those stats and it's just like Diggs might not be able to hang out there, but he can still make the big play, but just consistent you might not. So you might see something from him in the playoffs potentially.
And then I know this game didn't mean anything with the playoffs, but it was just funny. The Raiders beating the Chiefs 14-12.
I was on my way home yesterday, so I missed the games. I saw the Lions game, but that was the only game I saw other than the Steelers Ravens game when I got back home. But I listened to the radio call from the Raiders radio team when they beat the Chiefs, and you could have sworn that
they won the Super Bowl.
That they won their 16th straight game. Like it was or 17th straight game. It was insane that call.
Well, they were so bad that anytime they were this close, it was a miracle.
Yeah, yeah.
Which it was because the Raiders are awful.
And I mean, it was best case scenario, I would say, for Raiders fans because they beat the Chiefs, end their horrible season on a good high, and still get the number 1 pick.
They had already locked the number 1 pick before the game even started because the Giants beat the Cowboys.
So at that point, you'd be rooting, if you're a Raiders fan, you're rooting for them because normally, up to this point, they were probably like, just get the number 1 pick, at least. So it's like they got the number 1 pick and they beat the Chiefs and the season on a win. Good for them.
I know it didn't impact the division, but it's a division win too.
Yeah,
against Kansas City.
Yeah, so and anytime you can beat Kansas City, it's a good day for you.
True. Travis Kelce's last game, maybe he hasn't even given any indication. Everybody's been talking about this is it.
He's in such a tough situation because right now I don't think they know. They know the extent of the Mahomes injury, but they don't know when he's going to come back. So if it's like
some people are saying he's going to come back week 1. Some people are saying it's going to be most of next year he's out.
I'll say this. If he comes back week 1, regardless of what happens, if he comes back week 1, they're going to retool in the offseason. They're going to get some guys to make a push with Kelce.
For one more year.
For one more year, and that will be it, is how I'm looking at it. Just the vibe that I'm getting from him. That's what I would say. But if it looks like Mahomes is going to come back halfway through the season, they really don't get anybody in free agency or in the draft, nothing really interesting, that will probably be it for Kelce. He probably won't come back.
Yeah, and I don't think it's based on just himself saying, do I want to do this again or not? I think he's just, like you said, waiting for front office if they do anything.
Yeah.
And that's if. They haven't even, nobody's come out and said, we're going to make some moves, we're going to do this, we want to try to do that. Although we do know, okay, Mahomes is probably not going to play, part of the season.
Right.
Because I don't see him being back for week 1.
Yeah.
So, just like Micah Parsons, I don't see him being back for week 1 again for Green Bay. Although that'd be nice. I don't think he's going to.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have Mahomes, you're going to rock with Gardner Minshew, although he was hurt, not as, bad of an injury. But Gardner Minshew's your quarterback. Besides Kelce, you really don't know what's going to happen. We have no clue how the Chiefs are going to be next year.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Kelce's just like, okay, I'm going to wait a little bit, enjoy the offseason. I'm getting married. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, and I think, they got to make investments in the offensive line. That's the big thing. They got to invest in the offensive line. They got to add a couple more weapons on offense. And I feel like the team's right there, but they're just a good offensive line away from being back to where they were.
Taking a look at the wild card schedule, 2 games on Saturday, Rams and Panthers at 4:30, Packers Bears, Prime Video as the Saturday night headliner. The Bears losing to the Lions, not looking great at all, make me feel a little bit better. Still not much better because we've lost 4 in a row. So it's going to be really interesting Saturday.
Yeah.
Does Chicago come out and play really well and, be upset about what they did against the Lions? And I don't know how Green Bay's going to do either. Love has been out for a few weeks, so he's been getting healthier. He's going to play Saturday. But, how aggressive is he going to be passing and moving around because, of the concussion? Green Bay's other injuries. Jacobs has been playing hurt. So, and still obviously not having Micah Parsons on the defensive line against the Bears' O-line that has been really good this year.
Yeah.
So, and they've already played each other once. The rivalry is always a part of the game. So I really don't know what's going to happen with this game.
I will say the lightning fast predictions. I got Rams, Bears, Bills, Niners, Texans. That's who I got. I got a lot of road teams.
Chargers or Patriots?
Oh, and Patriots.
Okay. And then Sunday, Bills, Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville's been really well. The Bills played the Jets, so that doesn't count yesterday. But that could be a sneaky good game.
I think it'll be a good game, but I think Bills have it.
With Burrow not being in the playoffs, Mahomes being hurt and done for part of next year too, him not being in the playoffs, Lamar Jackson not being in the playoffs, this is Josh Allen's chance for him to be, talked about in that category. And he already is, but being the best out of all of those guys, this year's the chance to do it.
Yeah. I'm thinking, so to wrap up the playoffs, I will say Super Bowl predictions. Do you have something off the top of your head, or?
Because it's my brother's team, I hate saying it. I think right now the favorite out of the NFC is Seattle because they've been unbelievable this year, 14-3. So I think them out of the NFC. And then the AFC is still open to me because the Patriots are really good. But Denver's also really good, a really good defense.
Yeah.
And then Jacksonville's been sneaky. And I wouldn't put Houston as one of the top 3 contenders, but Houston's won 9 in a row, and their defense is the best defense to me in the NFL. Yeah. So I wouldn't count Houston out too much either. So I think it's TBD out of the AFC against Seattle for the Super Bowl.
Got to pick one because we got to write this down for looking back at it during the Super Bowl. Who do you got?
Right now, New England.
New England against who? In the Super
Seattle.
Bowl? Seattle, and then who wins?
I hate Seattle, so I'm going to take New England.
All right. I will say it will be the Rams in the NFC. It will be the Bills in the AFC. And the Rams will beat the Bills in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
That will be my prediction.
Buffalo.
Yep.
What? Just asking why Bills over Jacksonville, the Patriots, Denver, Houston.
I think the Patriots are going to get beat by because Patriots are what seed? I'm trying to remember.
They are the 3.
They're the 3 seed.
Yeah.
I'd have to double check, but I think if the Patriots get matched up against the Texans beat the Patriots. How I look at it. I think the Texans have a shot to win to make the Super Bowl this year. I don't know about win, but they have a chance.
So then the AFC, you would have Texans, Bills AFC Championship.
If that's how it would shake out standings wise, I think I think the Bills can beat the Broncos. I do. I think in a down and dirty game, I think the Bills can win. And if it's Bills and Texans have an excellent shot at making it. So I guess I'll say that now because everybody's going to be like, I can't believe the Texans made the Super Bowl. I think they have a really, really good shot. That defense is nasty, and if that offense can come together, they can do it. So, but yeah, I just had to get that out there because I'm curious. I'm curious if we're at all close once we get to the Super Bowl.
And then the 4 head coaches that have been fired so far. Raheem Morris from Atlanta. That was one I was a little surprised by. I know Atlanta's not very good, but that was the one I was surprised by. The other 3 I'm not surprised by at all. Although Pete Carroll signed a 3-year deal.
I was going to say. Pete Carroll was a little surprising.
And then the Cardinals are historically
bad, so bad.
And then the Browns just are the Browns.
There's a little shout out to my buddies real quick because I know we got to wrap this up. But shout out to my buddies. Every year they do my 2 friends Tyler and Nick. They do a bottle bet where they take a team that didn't make the playoffs the previous year, and whoever has the best record they win. And they've done this for quite a few years. So they have to take a team that didn't make the playoffs. My buddy picked the Cardinals. Tyler. Nick picked the Patriots.
Oh.
Not even close. It was not even close all year. So shout out to Nick for picking the Patriots. I thought that was pretty funny, but we knew by week 4 that it was not going to be pretty.
And then just before we go to break here, Pistons are 26-9, still atop the Eastern Conference by 3 games to lead this week. Tonight, they're playing the Knicks on Peacock. Wednesday versus the Bulls, Saturday versus the Clippers. Clippers are really bad. They are the oldest team in the NBA. Yep. And although you could say, well, they have James Harden and they have Kawhi Leonard.
But
sure,
look at the age that they have them at. We're not talking about
2015.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Pistons are averaging 119 points a game.
Scoring a lot of points, capitalizing off of turnovers, and their defense has just been ridiculous.
All right, when we come back to wrap things up, Red Wings are looking really good.
Ooh, yes.
And Michigan and Michigan State basketball, the Wolverines should be ranked number 1, and they are 13-0, and we will get to that when we come back. Welcome back here on JTV. So, before we go, Red Wings looking really good. 24, 15, and 4 overtime losses. 52 points. Tied for second in the Eastern Conference and 1 point behind the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't watch a lot of Red Wings, I will admit. I know you do, and looking really good.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you look at the team as a whole, they've just played extremely well and hung in there in a lot of games. DeBrincat is just ridiculous. I think he's just such a good player, and Raymond's played really well. Larkin, Sider, all those guys. So yeah, I mean, they got Ottawa tonight at 7:30. So as this show is going on, we got Ottawa at Ottawa. Then it's back here, Vancouver on Thursday, and then Monday, Saturday, will be Montreal at Montreal. So,
big game because they're tied with Montreal in points.
Exactly. So I think it should be a good game. But hey, as long as we play well, and I'm a fan. Going into the season, it was looking what would be our goaltending situation, and Gibson has played extremely well. So I think if we make any moves coming up, it would be maybe to get another goaltender to rock with Gibson. But Gibson's been playing extremely well. But really nice to see how good the Pistons, what we talked last segment, the Pistons are doing well, Red Wings are doing well. Hopefully that can rub off on the Tigers next season.
And then Michigan and Michigan State basketball, the Wolverines are still undefeated, 13-0, ranked number 2 in the AP poll again this week. They've won almost 10 of their 13 games by 30 or more. This last Friday, just beat number 24 USC by 30. At Chrysler Center, they should be number 1. I know Arizona's a really good team, but they haven't been beating everybody by 30, let alone ranked teams, too. Not only has Michigan been beating everybody by a lot, they've been beating ranked teams. I know Gonzaga's not currently ranked, but they're still Gonzaga. They're still always a threat.
And that was 30. Yeah.
Yep. And then USC by 30.
Yep.
So, and then Michigan State's ranked number 12 this week. They're 12-2 overall. Lost by 2 at Nebraska this last Friday. And Nebraska, surprisingly, they're 13-0 and they're number 10. So Michigan, Nebraska is going to be really good when they play. And then Michigan, Michigan State, both games obviously are going to be legendary.
Yeah. And shout out obviously to Carson Cooper, who we had on the show against Nebraska. Yeah, against Nebraska, 6 points, 13 boards. Not a bad game defensively there for him. And it's really nice now looking. Just talked about the Red Wings and the Pistons. Now Michigan and Michigan State have been killing it. We just got to get the football side figured out for those teams. And then the Lions, what we got going on there. But it's funny. It's like I feel like we're back to normal for Detroit sports or for Michigan sports, because it's like both college basketball teams are doing well. College football is kind of in limbo. The Lions didn't make the playoffs, and the Pistons and Red Wings and the Tigers are doing well. It's just funny that it's like I feel like we're back in like 2012 right now.
Yeah. All right, before we go, subscribe to JTV Sports with the winter season being back underway again. Got some really good boys and girls basketball games this week. Of course, we've got Lumen United hockey this Friday. We'll get to that in a second. And then, of course, cheer, hockey, bowling, wrestling, and all the other sports. So subscribe to JTV Sports for free. You can do that online on our website at jtv.tv. Live this Friday, 5:45, Matt Kibbe, Maxwell Fritz, Jackson United, and Jackson Lumen Christie for the Boots.
That's right.
Lumen has had their number the last few years, but United with a new coach, Corey Doran, and his staff this year, and their players looking really good. Really excited to watch this game. So 5:45, presented by Minuteman Sewer and Drain and the College Chevrolet pregame show here on JTV. So It's going to do it for us. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. Happy New Year. And, of course, always follow our Facebook page, too, The David Rice Show on Facebook, posting a lot of sports news and scores from around the area every day on there. So follow us on Facebook and subscribe to JTV Sports. So Happy New Year. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.